Hi there, Percy from Elwood Staffing. Elwood Staffing is now hiring for Fresenius, a global leader in healthcare. Right now, pay ranges start at $15.25 an hour, all the way up to $16.75 an hour. And right now, sign-on bonuses starting at $1,500, all the way up to $2,500. Full and part-time positions are available. For full-time people, listen, 12-hour shifts, but only 3.5 working days, giving you plenty of time to spend with your loved ones. And no high school diploma is required, as you will be given paid on-the-job training. If this temp to hire opportunity is something that you want, go to elwoodjobs.com or click the link. And hey, we look forward to having you.
Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. Heidi, how are you today?
We call it Friday in this office.
Friday. Wait, is that? Are you sure? Friday.
Don't think about it too hard, Stephen. It's
I'm
okay.
trying not to. Yeah. Okay.
It's Friday. This is so exciting. Weekend.
Yes.
Hunting weekend. It's open season on Sunday.
That's right. And that's why none of your HR managers that go hunting or plant managers or shift managers will be available for the next month because they'll all be hunting.
It's going to be glorious.
But what you may not know about hunting season is we are also in hunting season. And Heidi did a really cool video last year or 2 years ago. I don't know. When was it? A year ago? Last year. You need to send that to me again. I'm going to upload it to this. We'll share it next time.
Okay.
So funny. Got like 1 million views. She became a multi-thousandaire out of it. I mean, it was awesome.
He's so full of it.
Also, this month is not only hunting season, but it is breast cancer awareness month.
It sure is.
We are going pink today. Got the pink on, got the little pink banner below, and the Heidi that is not wearing pink. So what do you do?
I'm wearing my shirt.
Diane's wearing her pink shirt. Look.
Oh, hey, Diane.
Hi.
Wait, she's in the boss's chair.
No, she's not.
Oh, wait, you switched desks. What? Are you serious?
It's been a while since you've come and seen us, Stephen.
Oh, just call me out in front of 100,000 people. Why don't you, Heidi?
I'm sorry. He comes to the office all the time, guys.
Thank you. Yes, every day.
Okay.
Like once a month, maybe.
Maybe if that.
And then I just schedule it and I count that as a visit, even though I cancel. That works, right?
I think that counts.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we are going to be talking about some fun stuff today, like, how to be a great supervisor, Stephen, and those qualities, Stephen, of being a great supervisor, Stephen, so that you don't lose your employees.
This feels like kind of like a dig here.
I'm teasing. No, Stephen really is a great supervisor. And so we've got some advice on those companies who are experiencing high turnover rates on maybe some of these qualities you can find in your supervisors or counsel your supervisors on to try to reduce some of those turnover rates. Yes.
So, recruiting is top of mind for any company that's hiring right now because it is seriously challenging, right? To find people. It is very challenging for everyone. Even the people that are the best recruiters in the world, it's hard. And so it's really important to and we had a discussion yesterday how to ethically steal people from your competitors. So watch that video if you did not watch it, because there's 4 tips that we shared that'll really help you in your recruiting efforts, find people, talented individuals, and recruit them over to your organization. Today, we're going to talk about the second most important topic. So one was recruiting, right? Number 2 is retention, keeping your people. It's one thing to recruit them, and that's a really hard thing, right? It's another to keep it. So we're going to keep them. So we're going to talk about qualities supervisors must have if you want to reduce your turnover and attrition. If you want to keep your good people and take your good people and make them great, you will want to watch today. You'll want to tune in. So let us know where you're at, where you're tuning in from. We are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And we're going to jump right into the discussion. We're going to talk about quality supervisors must have to help your people stay and feel like they're appreciated and they're part of the team and keep them. We want to keep them, keep our people.
Yes.
All right,
it's
Heidi.
like saying behind every great student is a great teacher. It's the same thing. Behind every great employee is a great supervisor. The only reason I'm as good at my job as I am is because I have fantastic supervisors, such as Mr. Stephen Farrell here.
How much do I owe you for that comment? All right. So what does that say, Heidi?
7 out of 10 U.S. workers are not engaged, meaning that they're not putting forth the energy into their jobs that they used to, or they're indifferent about the work and they just show up to put in their hours and get a paycheck. Furthermore, about 17% of workers are actively disengaged, meaning that they're out to do damage to their employers. It's not enough to just not be engaged, but it's even going up to 17% are disengaged and want to do harm or damage to them.
Is it weird that I have this random piece of paper that's all ripped up?
I love it.
Yes, that was ripped out of our 9 Simple Ways pamphlet, our training program for supervisors, which we hold for companies, large companies, to help them with their frontline managers gain those people skills, those soft skills as leaders. Okay, Heidi. So you just highlighted that 7 out of 10 workers are disengaged, right? 17% of them are actively disengaged, meaning like if you're in a boat trying to like go, head
row
north,
forwards,
right, downstream, and or maybe they're going south, and yeah, and there's 10 people, right? 3 out of your 10 are going the other way. They're like, get us out of here. We don't want to go this way.
I'm not done playing
You're just
in the
gonna
lane.
like flip in circles there. Like no one's gonna go anywhere. That's your workforce right now. That's not fun. How are we gonna be productive that way? And eventually you throw the people off, right? Like they're going the wrong way. So get out of my boat. Now you have a team of 7 instead of 10, and it's going to be a lot harder to get to your destination. Yeah. And everyone's going to be overworked and tired, and some might fall off because they're so tired, fall asleep.
And then if you throw Bob, Bill, and John out of the back, it's likely that Zach, Ryan, and I don't know, I'm not really good with coming up with names on the spot, but their friends are going to leave with them. So you're not just losing these associates that are actively disengaged, you're also losing their friends or people that enjoyed working with them, and they're going to follow them to other companies. We see this on a day-by-day basis, that it's one person leaves that company and they call up their friend and they're like, wait, hang on, you're making how much? And you don't have to do what? And they respect you? What? I want that job.
Yeah.
And then they'll apply for that other job. And we see this. You're not just losing 1 or 2 people. It's mass leave.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna share 7 tips that you can teach your supervisors to embrace to help you with your attrition, to keep your people.
Are you gonna quiz me on this one at the end, Stephen? Do I need to write these down?
Well, these 7 tips. I think.
I was teasing.
Oh.
Yesterday, you caught me off guard.
I did. Yep. I did that on purpose. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. It's okay.
Okay. So here we go. Tip number 1 for your supervisors. These are qualities that they must have. What's the first quality, Miss Heidi?
Interactive communication.
Oh, that was a close call there.
So it's not enough to just communicate. It's being interactive in your communication.
Interactive in your communication. So for example, your line lead, your supervisor, your department manager, your plant manager, etc., right? If you have just one-way dialogue with your team, you're not going to get the best out of your team. You're not going to bring the best out of them. And you're going to lose out on a lot of good ideas on how you can improve processes, how you can keep your people, how you guys can, produce more, maybe. So many things, right? But if the dialogue is just one way, your team will feel invalidated, unimportant, unappreciated, and over time you will lose some really good people. In addition to that, you won't bring the best out of your good people to help them become great. They're just good, right? They're coming. They know they want to do a good job. They want to be proud of their work, but it's as far as that passion goes. It's a paycheck, right? Wouldn't it be nice to capture their passion, their ideas, their interests on how to make the business better, how to make the team better? And that comes through interactive communication. So on an ongoing basis, having discussions with your team about how they're feeling about their job and giving them recognition every single day, and acknowledging the challenges and ask them, what their ideas are and how to overcome them. I am a big proponent of, if you come to me with a problem, I want you to come to me with a solution. And I'm not saying that's the right solution. Like, what's your best solution? What's your best idea? And let's talk through it. And that helps your team flex their muscles, right? To help them learn and develop these critical thinking skills that are going to help them be that much better in their space. They say it takes 10,000 hours to master your craft, right? So most times we don't give, most people don't hit that 10,000 hours, right? They turn over, they lose interest, they're underappreciated, and they're going elsewhere. And so wouldn't it be nice to make everybody on your team the subject matter experts, to give them that 10,000 hours of experience? Can you imagine how unstoppable you would be? And the first step in that is having interactive communication, being able to be present, to be able to listen, and to seek ideas from your team, and to always give them a voice. And so we should put a microphone next to that first tip: interactive communication. Give your team a voice.
Yes, absolutely. And I definitely think it makes a difference trying to put a plan into motion when it's a plan that's presented by a supervisor versus a plan that the associates came up with. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely that difference when you go up to them and say, we need to get this much done. This is how we're going to do it. And this is who's in charge of what, is completely different than this is what needs to be done. How do you guys think we can go about doing that? Okay, who feels comfortable doing this? Who feels comfortable doing that? And pulling on your team's strengths. And even though you might think their strength is one thing, they might feel their strength is something different. And to have that interactive communication where you guys can find that, perfect spot where you're challenging them at the same time they're doing something that they feel comfortable doing and can do the best at. Just having that kind of open line of communication really does make a difference.
Yeah. Yep. It really does. I tell you, most managers don't do this on purpose, but you get a directive from your boss, and sometimes it's a hard, sometimes you get hard news that you have to deliver your team. You have to ask them to do something really hard out of their comfort zone, or maybe your team is just in trouble, you've been underperforming, and you just got the heat from your supervisor, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna crack some heads. Please don't ever say that. If you say that as a supervisor, please talk to me. Let me recommend a couple books behind here on words you don't use, with your team. That is one of them. And so, you come in, you're just trying to share the information. Look, guys, we're getting a lot of heat. We got to get this right, or we're all going to be fired. Whoa, what do you mean? Thanks for invalidating all my hard work the last year.
It gets to the point where it's like, oh, you just said we're all going to be fired if this doesn't happen.
That's all they heard. That's all they hear. They hear the word fire, or we're in trouble, or we're underperforming, and it's game over.
Yep.
So a better way when you're delivering bad news and asking for something hard is, guys, it's tough out there. You guys have been working your tails off, and we've been shorthanded. I really appreciate everything you guys are doing, and I want us to come together. I've got this hard news that came down that I'm trying to filter and decipher on how we can make this better. So, hey, let's talk about it. And I want your ideas because I don't have all of them. And you guys are the ones that are working your tails off on the line. What do you think? How do you think we can fix this?
What do you think the problem is and why we haven't?
Yeah, what's the root cause? And then they're going to be like,
it's those that are working on the line, those that are doing it day by day, that are going to know what's going on and what problems are there.
Yeah, what better people to ask than the ones on the front lines, that are putting in all the hard work. And so that's one example. Another is just if I'm trying to bring the best out of my people, and I don't know where they fall. Are they somebody that wants to move up in their career? Are they somebody that this is just a paycheck to them, but it's still important? The home life is more important to them. How do I decipher who's who? Because everyone's going to be a little different. Their motives are different. And if you have this interactive communication with your team, you can bring those motives out. What drives you? Why are you here? Why do you crawl out of bed crying that you have to go into work? Why? Well, if you ask them why they come to work, and then they're like, well, because, I force myself. Okay, that's fair. Why do you have to force yourself? What motivates you?
I do not want to come into work today, but I can't afford to not.
Can't afford. Oh, okay. So if you can't afford to miss work, what can we do to make you love work or feel like you can at least get out of bed and not, drag yourself out to get to work?
What's the path so that we can get you more income so that you can afford to miss work?
Whew, sorry, my nose is like running there.
You're quarantining with COVID. It's fine.
Quarantine's over today. Thank you very much.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yay! We get our boss back.
Oh, thank you.
So after this communication takes place, it really ties into our second quality that supervisors should have. Once you've talked about these issues, once you've talked about problems to solve, when you've talked to your employees about why they want to come into work, the second one follows along with empathy and compassion. And that really, I feel like, goes hand in hand with this interactive communication. If you don't have that empathy and that compassion for your workers and what kind of work they're doing, what they have to put up with on a day-by-day basis, nothing's going to come out of this interactive communication. You've got to be able to take the feedback that they're giving you or the problems that they're giving you or some of their solutions and really understand where they're coming from and what you can do to help fix that and validate any of their concerns.
People struggle a lot with this one. It's not that we're like all robots and we have no empathy or compassion for one another. It's just we all of us have different communication skills. And, if you've read the 5 love languages, that will give you some insights on how people are very different on the way they communicate and receive communication. And so your team, if they're in a big building with thousands of employees, it's common if you ask them, how they feel about their job and if they're valued as an individual, it's common to hear the answer to that question is no, I don't feel valued. I feel like a number. Yeah. And so how can you display empathy and compassion for someone's, interests, career interests and life struggles and things like that if they're just a number, right? And so as a leader, if you can tap into your team and really empathize with them, be compassionate for their circumstances. It doesn't mean like, hey, Steven, I know you scheduled me from 6 to 2 every day, but I have these daycare issues and I just can't get out till 8. So I'm just going to be 2 hours late every day. And I go, okay, great, Heidi. Thank you for sharing that with me. We'll see you at 8 every day. well, if I have a business that needs to have someone from 6 to 2 and not have a 2-hour gap, that doesn't work, Heidi. And I'm really sorry. It just, I need someone here that can be here at 6. So maybe I can help you. Maybe I can help find a daycare with you. Like, let me do some research too, and let's tackle this together. Like, that's where the compassionate part comes in versus like, hey, sorry, this doesn't work. Goodbye. So that's just one example of many. If your team's if someone on your team's having a hard time at home, like, and they have a bad couple days, maybe they have a bad couple of weeks, right? Do you just kick them to the curb?
Some do, but the best don't.
We've got a comment here from Danica. I've got to jump off. All right, Danica. We'll see you next time. Loving this topic and your thoughts. Will this be available later to view? Yes, Danica. You can just come right back to LinkedIn, click on my profile, and you can rewatch it. So thanks for the comment. All right. So what are some other ways you can be compassionate towards your team members, Heidi?
I think a lot of it, I'm actually going to dip into the empathy just a little bit, if you don't mind, Stephen.
Go ahead.
But when somebody comes up to you with a problem, they're not always in the same situation as you are. So if somebody comes up to you and says, I hate my job with a burning, fiery passion, I'm just here to get a paycheck, and you don't understand that because you love your job. Instead of just dismissing that and being like, oh, well, that's just because you're lazy, or, oh, well, that's just because you don't want to be working at all. Instead of dismissing those feelings, getting down to the root of it and having empathy for that and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry that you hate your job. Why? What's going on? What can we do to make this better? Let's change this situation, because I wouldn't want to come to work if I hated my job. It's great that I love my job, but let's make it to where you love your job.
Exactly.
And again, that's where I'm saying it ties in with that interactive communication, because instead of just saying, well, that's because you are not a very reliable associate and you would love your job if you showed up every day. You would love your job if you actually talked to people. And instead of dismissing their thoughts, their feelings, instead of dismissing that entirely, or you don't know what you're talking about as far as this solution's concerned, you've never dealt with this before. Instead of dismissing that, having that empathy and that compassion for what they feel, what their thoughts are, what their solutions are, what their problems are, and then using that interactive communication to get down to some solutions and make the situation better.
Yeah, it's really good. I have a fun story. We're running out of time, so I'll hurry. But I had an employee that I hired. I was doing a huge favor for a friend to hire this individual. I mean, like the biggest favor that you can ever ask, because when you look at this guy's resume, he had like 15 jobs in the last 12 months. He was really trying to learn some, some skill sets out there, 12, 15 different companies. So, when you're trying to hire someone that you want long-term and you see 15 jobs in the last 12 months, probably not the right candidate, right? The guy's life was a mess. And, I won't share his name or which company or anything like that, because it was a long time ago. But his wife was like, we're done. Like, this is too much, right? And I'm sure there's so many other problems happening in that relationship, but she was like, this is too much. And we'll let Heidi take that phone call. Associates come first. And so I hire this individual, and you could tell he wanted to learn, he wanted to make a difference, but he was not reliable. And after maybe a month of working for me, I get a call one day, and he's just like, I'm at work. I just can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. I'm quitting. And he was ready to walk off the job. And this was after a month of me giving him a chance, a really big chance. And so I said, I'll just call him Mike. I said, Mike, I don't accept your resignation. Get your bleep back to work. And I hung up on him. Is that compassionate, Heidi?
No. I mean, maybe starting off with I think that there's something different we can do than just signing the resignation. let's work with you. If it would have changed into that, you would have seen like the empathy, the compassion, I'm so sorry to hear this is going on. Let me see what I can do to work with you, instead of, okay, I'll take your resignation. We didn't want you to anyways.
Right. Well, see, I knew his situation, and so I was in a position to be able to push back in a gentle but, firm way. If I didn't know his situation, I would have took the time to be like, okay, Mike, this is coming out of left field. I'm going to come into the office. Let's chat for a few minutes. Let's talk about it. I'm not saying, I accept your resignation, but I want to figure out what's going on. And then I'd go sit down with Mike, and then I would figure out that things are really hard at home, and there's just all these pressure points, and something has got to give. So work was that thing, which, in retrospect, if he got rid of work, it would have made the home life even worse. And so that individual did not quit. He stayed, and he became one of my best employees and really grew his career. And so for me, when I look at number 2, empathy and compassion, it's really believing in your people, giving them the benefit of the doubt, not assuming the worst every time there's a problem or a call out or a sick kid or, inconsistent schedule, to not assume the worst, but to seek to understand and then come to a level of understanding moving forward. Have those uncomfortable conversations. And if you come in there with empathy, if you're compassionate towards that individual, you will capture them as an employee. You will capture their interests. You will capture their passion, and they could be long-term a great asset to your organization. So,
right.
20
and we
minutes on that,
absolutely understand that this is time consuming. It does take a lot of time to have these conversations, which I feel like leads us right into our third,
number 3,
our third attribute that these supervisors should have. It's the ability to delegate.
Ooh.
I know delegation can be a little bit of a scary word. You're always wondering if it'll get done right. If you're anything like me, and somebody comes and cleans your house, you follow along behind them and re-clean it just to make sure it got done right. But at work, 9 times out of 10, when given the opportunity, somebody will surprise you and succeed. So granted, that is 9 times out of 10. So there is that one time where you will, have to put in the work. But worst case scenario, you had to put in that work anyway. Why not give somebody that opportunity to excel and to grow and learn, while also giving you the ability to use that time that you would have spent on that task to do things like this, have these conversations.
Exactly.
And focusing on your associates.
The ability to delegate is one of the hardest things to do for a new manager that just got put in a management position or some sort of leadership position where you're responsible for more than just yourself. People get promoted because they are the best of the best. Everybody can count on them. They are the experts of their trade. They put in the work. They're very talented individuals, and that's a big part of why they get promoted into a lead position. And then what's missed, unfortunately, is the training of people skills, soft skills, and the ability to let go and to delegate and to develop your own people. You can't expect everyone to be as good as you just because you were that good doesn't mean your team is going to be that good. You want them to be a team of high performers, but you can't just expect that out of the gate. And you have to learn to develop your people, and developing, part of that development is delegating. And it's hard to do, because if you can do it in 10 minutes and if you delegated it and to somebody and it would take them 45 minutes to do, you're like, man, 45 minutes or 10 minutes. I got a busy schedule. I'm going to choose the 10 minutes. But that extra time of 45 minutes is going to save you countless hours down the road, because you no longer have to do it, because you've taught someone and you've developed them. And so you have to delegate as a leader. That's a key attribute if you want to keep your team. 1, keep your own sanity, but 2, help your team feel valid, appreciated, give them challenges to learn and grow from, give them opportunities to learn new trades. And that's going to pay dividends down the road for you. And they may leave your company, like you were just the training ground for them. They get the certifications and they go like, okay, now I know what I'm worth, Heidi. See ya. But often they come back. And maybe it's and it's like 10 years later, they call you up and they're like, Heidi, you were like one of the best leaders I've ever had in my life. I'm looking for a career change. Can I be part of your team? And you're like, come on, let's go. Come on over, right?
It does. It definitely pays off in the long run. Or it's even them telling other people, I started from nothing and this company helped build me up into something. And exactly. I mean, you really don't know what the payoff's going to be, even if it doesn't look immediate. It's going to pay off every single time.
You got it. All right. Let's go. Number 4. What do you got?
Flexibility. And this one I feel like is really good for new managers to learn as well. When you go into these positions, you have this, or I shouldn't say you, I should say people tend to have this mindset of today's going to go this way, this way, this way, this way, and this way. This is what we're going to get done. This is everything on my checklist that needs to get done. And this is how it's going to be. But the good supervisors have that flexibility and they work that flexibility into their schedules. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what situations are going to pop up. But to be able to have that flexibility and be available to your associates when they're needing you, to your employees when they need you, to be able to have that kind of flexible schedule will really make the difference. Yeah.
And the word flexibility can be applied across every category you can think of when it comes to personnel. And you need that. When we speak about flexibility for quality, as a quality supervisor should have, really you need to be flexible in your approach with your team, with when it comes to conflicts that, or issues that get them, make it harder for them to be punctual and come to work on time. We are in the middle of a pandemic, so like daycare issues, like I was on a quarantine this entire week, and I was so lucky that my employer was flexible in allowing me to work remotely, even though my job is better suited in person, right? I can still work remote and be just as productive, but it's better to be in person for my role. But that flexibility allows me to know that I'm still going to have an income, know that I can still make an impact, and to not feel like I took something and didn't give something back, right? And so as a leader, how flexible are you with your team and their challenges, and how do you come together to work through those, right? To have the same understanding that benefits the business. At the end of the day, people are the most important thing, right? You take care of your people. But on the same token, on the other side, you have a business to run and stuff needs to get done. And if your people aren't there or they're not doing their job, you're not taking care of your customers. And so, that empathy, that compassion, that ability to delegate and having that flexibility all ties in together. And your team, despite their real human challenges, they have your back. They have the organization's back, and they will go above and beyond to make sure the job gets done and customers are taken care of. And that's the important thing. Okay, Heidi's on the call. We're going to keep going. Number 5, positive attitude. This one's one of my favorites. If you've ever worked for me, you know that I believe having a positive attitude is just absolutely essential in being a good leader. You can have a bad day as a leader, but what is your attitude towards the circumstances that cause that bad day? Are you going to relish in the bad and share that with your team, even though it's maybe just a quick minute? They would understand. Or are you going to stay positive despite the challenge, despite the gloomy outlook? Are you going to stay positive through that? People need a positive leader. They need to know that you're human, right? You can have bad days, but even in those bad days, are you displaying some negative attributes, or are you showing them that, yeah, this is hard, but we're going to figure it out, right? That's the difference between a positive attitude and a negative outlook. And so this is an attribute that you can't just assign a leader to have. It takes time, it takes maturity, and it takes a good teacher. But the good news is these attributes are not something you're born with. These are things that are taught. So you as a leader can learn these attributes. And that's the good news. Just like anything, learning something new, a new trade, you can learn the trade of good leadership skills. And number 5, positive attitude, is one that is really tricky, but very important. And it's something that you should share with your team on a regular basis, daily, weekly. Reinforce that positive attitude. Heidi is just very positive, taking care of her customers, her associates, which is fantastic. We're almost done here. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Next one, humility. Number 6, when it comes to attributes good leaders should have to keep your employees happy. Humility is important. Some people will double down on the wrong answer just so they're right. They don't want to be wrong. They don't want people to know they made a mistake. And that is a very scary attribute to have on your team. If someone is covering up their footsteps just so they're right, if they're not willing to admit they got it wrong, you have the wrong leader. So this is an attribute that is crucial to really build your team up and to show them by example that you yourself have humility. When you get it wrong, you own your mistakes. When you're with clients and they notice something isn't right, and something is off, or you got something wrong, or you failed to follow up on something. If you don't have the humility to say, "Yep, you're right. I didn't send that email. Now that you referenced it, and you really wanted that like a week ago, I am so sorry. Please accept my apology. I will get this to you right away. And if you ever ask me for something again, it takes more than 24 hours. Just come over and like pinch me and remind me, and I'll get it over to you." Right. And even more importantly, with your team as a frontline leader, they need to know that you get it wrong and you own your mistakes versus passing the buck and blaming others. One thing that is a pet peeve of mine for brand new leaders is when they're delivering bad news, when they're saying, "Hey, we need to do this new program," or "Hey, Heidi, you did a really bad job, really terrible job, and we got to fix it." They always point up the ladder. So, "Hey guys, this new initiative, corporate's making us do it. I know it's terrible, but we got to do it," right? Versus, "Hey, this is a new initiative. I think we got to get behind it. What do you guys think? I know this might be hard, but this is exciting. Think of what it could produce for us." That's a better way. Hi, Heidi. Welcome back.
Hi, Stephen. Sorry. Associates always come first.
They do. We got a message here from Heidi. She's got to jump off in a minute. She's got associates coming in, which is awesome. Last one, passion, number 7. Heidi.
Do you know how hard it is to get people passionate about a job you're not passionate about yourself?
Yeah.
Let's just start there. If this is not something where you enjoy being a leader, not something where you enjoy being a supervisor, you hate your job, how are you supposed to make other people love theirs? Stephen loves his job, and anybody that he talks to, any of his employees, you talk to them. And because Stephen loves his job, it rubs off on the rest of us. The rest of us love our job.
Oh, thank you.
We may not always love the problems that we're faced with, but that's a regular occurrence. You're not ever going to like the problems that you're faced with. But if you are a leader who, oh goodness, how do you say this? If you're a leader who you're passionate about what you do, you're passionate about what your company does, you're passionate about what you can provide as an employer, these are the things that are going to make the difference.
Absolutely. People can see through the BS. And if you're a fake, if you're just putting on a smile where your teeth, smile, people see through that so fast and you lose so much credit. If you are not passionate about what you do and you're in a leadership position, you need to respectfully tap out. Do not falsely lead your team.
And that doesn't mean that you quit the company. That could mean that maybe you're better as a trainer.
Yeah,
that you would be better in logistics, or you would be better in operations.
Right.
There could be a different
sometimes
way for you
you
to
can't
realize your potential.
Yeah, sometimes you're just not a good fit to be in a leadership position right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need a little bit more development. Leadership skills are learned, right? So if you're not passionate as a leader, how can you expect your leaders to be passionate, right? And their employees, right? Their team members. Starts from the top. Every level of leadership needs to be passionate about what they do on every level of that organization in every way, or you just lose out on so much potential to bring the best out of your people. So you might ask, Stephen, how do I train passion? Well, one, you hire for passion. Okay. So when you're hiring people, I know it's hard. Like, hey, you got a pulse, Heidi? Oh, your resume has a smiley face on it. You're hired. I know it feels like that out there, so you can't be picky, but really, what drives that individual? What kind of questions can you ask to bring out their passion? It's really simple. Heidi, what are you passionate about? That is a simple question that you can really peel back the layers on. So your existing frontline leaders, you have to be that example of someone that is passionate about the company, about their product, about their customers. You have to display that transparently, and it has to be real. And then you can share that with your team and ask them what drives them and what are they passionate about, and help them cultivate that passion and grow it, right? You got to grow the passion. And that's how you're going to do it with your frontline leaders. And if your frontline leaders are not responding, if some are not responding, well, you find people that are teachable, coachable, or have it already, right?
Yes, absolutely. One of my favorite examples from somebody was that I can't get passionate about this job because I've never experienced this job. They were a supervisor. So what this supervisor did is that he said, "I'm sorry, Steve," because you're here on the call. "I'm sorry, Steve, but I know I'm supposed to be managing these people, but I can't get passionate about this. I need to have a couple weeks out on the line working beside them. I need to get rid of my supervisor responsibilities just for about a week or two so that I can understand what these people are going through, so that I can become passionate about what they do and what their job is. Because right now I'm leading people and I don't know what they go through on a daily basis. I don't know what their struggles are. I need to understand those in order to be the best leader. So I need to step down."
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh my goodness. Yes. Keep that associate, keep that supervisor for the rest of this company's life. Have that supervisor retire, do whatever it takes to keep them, because that is somebody that's going to get your people to stay.
That is a leader right there.
That is a leader.
Yes. Okay. Well, Heidi, this is long. This was a pretty long program today. Some great insights. Thank you for sharing those 7 tips. So again, just as a recap, qualities that supervisors must have to get the best out of your team, to improve attrition, keep your people, and to help them get passionate about their own job, their own work. 1 is interactive communication, 2-way street. Just think of a street with traffic going this way and traffic going that way.
I communicate with you, you communicate with me, we're interacting.
And being a good listener is very crucial in that first one. Have empathy and compassion. Be able to delegate. Ability to delegate. Flexibility, positive attitude, humility, and passion. Those 7 attributes. If you could get 7 of those, because there's hundreds out there, if you get those 7 down, you're going to be unstoppable. Your team is going to be unstoppable. Your organization is going to be unstoppable if you focus on those 7. And if you need help with your team focusing on those 7, I have 9 simple ways to keep your employees happy on the job. that we can talk about. So just, two more.
With
after.
pamphlets that are not ripped.
Yeah.
Those.
Yeah. I don't know where oh, here we go. It's not. Oh, wait, that's ripped. I'm sorry.
We do have non-ripped pamphlets, but
yes.
we will. We are here to help. That's one of the things that we are passionate about, both Stephen and I, is that we are passionate about helping people. And so if you are needing that help, just get a hold of Mr. Stephen Farrell here with the subject line help, and he'll reach out to you and help you in any way that we can.
Right. So happy Friday, Heidi. Thank you everyone for tuning in. And if you need help finding people to come work for you and you pride yourself in the way that you treat your employees, let's talk. I want to hear from you. If you're if you are proud of what you do, what your organization does, and you need help getting that message out to find employees that can get behind your brand, your mission, your vision, let's talk. Let's see if we can help you. If you are someone that's looking to make a career change and you'd like to work for Elwood Staffing as a recruiter or on-site, we'd love to talk to you as well. So send me your resume and let's talk. I'm looking for individuals that are passionate about what they do and sincerely care about those whom they serve. So that's all. That's all she wrote. Heidi, have a great weekend.
Great program today. Lots of fun stuff talked about. Definitely check out our other video where we talked about something. We talked about something last time. We did.
How to ethically steal people from your competitors.
How to ethically. I remember that now. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was making fun of you about
like how can ethically and stealing be in the same sentence?
But he did. He surprised me, guys. So go into our last video. It's a great tool that you can use to help recruit some of these other individuals and get them into your company and utilize these 7 skills or 7 attributes. There you go, for supervisors. And you will be successful.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Have fun hunting.
Woo!
Hi there, Percy from Elwood Staffing. Elwood Staffing is now hiring for Fresenius, a global leader in healthcare. Right now, pay ranges start at $15.25 an hour, all the way up to $16.75 an hour. And right now, sign-on bonuses starting at $1,500, all the way up to $2,500. Full and part-time positions are available. For full-time people, listen, 12-hour shifts, but only 3.5 working days, giving you plenty of time to spend with your loved ones. And no high school diploma is required, as you will be given paid on-the-job training. If this temp to hire opportunity is something that you want, go to elwoodjobs.com or click the link. And hey, we look forward to having you.